Hello everyone, I'm teacher Maricoco, and today we will be learning how to identify the principal parts of a sentence: subject, verb or predicate, and objects. This is very important, especially if you are preparing to do an official English exam. So let's begin. If you look at this action here, you can see or you can identify the person that is doing the action. This person is who we call the subject, okay? So here, the subject is the chef. What is he doing? Well, he is preparing probably a salad. So the chef is preparing a salad. Here we have our three elements. The subject is the chef. The action or the verb is preparing in this moment. And what is he preparing? He is preparing a salad. So the salad is my object. Okay. Here, I have a teacher. What does she do? She reads. What does she read? A book. To whom? To her students. So who does the action? The teacher. What action? Reads. What does she read? A book. To whom? To her students. So she reads a book to her students. The subject is the teacher. The action is reads. The object is the book. And we have a phrase that tells us who she is reading to. Okay? Here we have a vet who is holding a rabbit. So who is doing the action? The vet. What is he doing? He's holding. Holding what? A rabbit. So the rabbit is my object. The action is holding. And the subject is the vet. And the nurse is writing a report. She, the nurse, is the subject. Writing is the verb. And what is she writing? She's writing a report. Okay, so now that you have a better idea of the function of each part, let's look at some examples. Okay, like I said, sentences have these elements, but two elements are absolutely necessary in sentences. And that's the subject and the verb, or predicate, however you want to call it. So for example, here I have the boy ran. The boy is my subject, he ran, that's the action. At the park, I don't have an object because nothing is being affected by the action of running. So I just have a phrase. Phrases, what they do is they tell me information about time, or they tell me information about place. In this case, at the park is a place. Okay, Laura makes delicious pizza. Laura is the subject. She makes is a verb. Delicious pizza. Yes, that's the object because she makes delicious pizza. The verb is affecting the object. I don't have a time expression. I don't have a prepositional phrase. They can play video games all day. They is my subject. Can play is the action that they are able to do. What? What do they play? Video games. When? All day. So it tells me information about time. Okay, notice that subjects could be represented by common nouns like the boy, the cat, the singer, the man. Proper nouns, names of people. Or a pronoun, I, you, he, she, we, you, they, okay? The verbs can be in all different tenses: present, past, future, modal verbs. And the objects are not always necessary in the sentence. It's all going to depend if the verb is affecting something by the subject, okay? There's only one type of sentence in English that doesn't need a subject, and those are called imperatives. Imperatives begin with verbs, such as listen to the story. It's an instruction. It can also be an order. Listen to the story. I have the action. Listen to the story. To what? To what do I going to listen? But here, this preposition makes it a phrase, not an object. Lock the door. Okay, lock what? The door. Here I have an object. The door is my object. Okay, we're going to look at some other things that you have to consider when identifying subjects, verbs, and objects. Okay guys, so here we have some examples. Mr. Jones has donated $1 million to the school. We have our subject, Mr. Jones. Our action, our verb or predicate, has donated what? $1 million to the school is our prepositional phrase. It tells us the direction of this action. Okay, after the concert, the drummer threw his sticks to the crowd. So don't get confused thinking that the subject is always at the beginning of the sentence. It's not always that case, because here, if you see, we have a prepositional phrase that tells us when the action happened. When did it happen? After the concert. Okay, now we have who? After the concert, the drummer threw his sticks to the crowd. So we have our subject, our verb, and our object. Gus broke his tooth with an apple. Gus is the person, the subject. Broke, what did he break? His tooth. Additional information with a prepositional phrase, with an apple. Very slowly, this sets the tone of the sentence. But the sentence begins here. I opened it. Okay, let me make a small pause. Remember that subjects and objects could also be represented by pronouns. Subject pronouns or object pronouns. If you're going to use a pronoun in the subject position, you have I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. If you're going to use a pronoun in the object position, it's me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. Okay? Subject pronouns can never go after the verb, and object pronouns can never go before the verb. They have this specific place in a sentence. So here, to make it a little bit easier to understand, subject pronouns go before the verb, object pronouns go after the verb, okay? So here, when I say very slowly, I opened it, remember that pronouns are used when I know who or what I am talking about. If I don't have clear information of who or what I'm talking about, then I have to be clear, like here, Gus broke his tooth. I mentioned the name of the person and I mentioned what he broke. So if I know what I'm talking about, that's when we can use pronouns. If not, we don't. Okay, even though it rarely rains here, Mr. Lee brings his umbrella to work every day. Okay, our sentence begins in Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee brings what? His umbrella. Where? To work every day. But before that, we have additional information, even though it rarely rains here. This is what we call a clause. Clauses contain subjects and verbs, but are not complete ideas. So if you finish your sentence here, it would not be very clear what you're talking about. Even though it rarely rains here, what? Okay, so yes, I have a subject and I have a verb, it rains, but it's not a complete sentence. It's like a complement of my real sentence, and this is called a clause. Okay, so this was all for the video of today. I hope it's very easy for you to understand what is a subject, a verb, and an object. And next time you have to identify it, it will be easier for you. Thank you very much. I'm Teacher Maricoko. See you later.